Okay, let's just jump right in. We're going to be unpacking one of the most high stakes and, frankly, most inaccessible digital markets on the entire planet, China's iGaming scene.
It's a fascinating subject.
It is, because you've got this huge contradiction. On one hand, you have the world's biggest consumer base, you've got this cutting edge digital world, a middle class that's growing and ready to spend,
Hmm.
and it's all just running straight into a brick wall of absolute, total prohibition.
That contradiction, that paradox, is really the core of this whole analysis. And I think it's important for you listening to understand upfront where this assessment is coming from.
Yeah, the source of this.
Right.
Oh.
So we are the Gambling Databases research team. We're a group that's dedicated to delivering these really in-depth analyses of the global iGaming landscape.
And in each country report, you're looking at, well, everything. The local rules, taxes, what it's like for a player.
It's exactly regulations, taxation, player experience, operator conditions, all the emerging trends. Our goal is just to provide a really clear, data-driven picture of how the industry functions in each market and, what makes it unique.
And what makes China unique is that collision you mentioned. I mean, our research gives mainland China a rating of absolute no-go zone. The score is just 0.5 out of 10.
It is.
That's a number that basically says this is mathematically impossible for a legitimate business.
It is, and we frame it that way because the state has built what is, essentially a perfect financial and legal trap. The real insight isn't just, oh, it's illegal.
Right.
It's that the government system makes the risk profile.
Yeah.
Well, it's mathematically zero for any kind of profitable long-term operation.
Yeah.
Because of asset forfeiture, because they can just strangle your payment flows.
So the question we really need to get to the bottom of today is, can any private operator, local or foreign, actually navigate this? Or is the criminal risk just
It
absent?
really feels that way.
Okay, so let's start with the law. The actual black and white law. We're not talking about a gray market here, where the rules are a bit fuzzy, are we?
Oh, not at all. It's the darkest shade of black market. It's governed by criminal law, period. We have to be just crystal clear here. Private iGaming, so that's your casinos, sports betting, poker, it is all strictly and very aggressively prohibited.
So this isn't like some places where it's just a restrictive licensing system.
No, this isn't a situation like, say, Singapore where it's tough but possible. This is a zero legal pathway situation.
And if I'm an operator, I can't even try to lobby for some kind of skill gaming model or a social casino license. I mean, why is it so absolute?
It really comes down to cultural and political history,
Mm-hmm.
and the law just reflects that stance. The only legal gambling activities are the two state-run lotteries. You've got the welfare lottery and the sports lottery.
And they're both run by the Ministry of Finance.
Exactly. So what that means in practice is there's no application process for a private license. There are no criteria. There's no one you can even talk to. And the source material is very explicit. Foreign ownership in this sector is just completely and totally banned.
Okay, now for the part that's genuinely alarming, the enforcement. You mentioned cross-border arrests. Who are we talking about here? Is it just low-level staff, or are they going after executives?
The enforcement mechanisms come with what we label critical risk warnings. The reach is
Right.
it's extensive. They treat these operations like high-level criminal organizations.
So not like a regulatory breach.
Not at all. Private iGaming is a criminal offense. It leads directly to prosecution, prison time, and total asset seizure. The Ministry of Public Security actively coordinates with other governments to arrest and repatriate Chinese nationals involved in these operations, even if they're based abroad.
So if I'm running servers in, say, Manila, but my customers are in Shanghai, I'm still a target.
You're absolutely still a target. They're not just shutting down your server, they're coming after the people. Even if those people are operating perfectly legally in the country they're in, that just totally changes the personal risk calculation for anyone in this space.
And that's the physical enforcement. Then you have the digital side of it, this technological war that's being waged by the Great Firewall.
Correct. And it's a constant cat and mouse game that they are pouring huge resources into. The firewall isn't just a simple IP blocker anymore. It uses advanced AI to identify and block sites based on content, traffic patterns, and maybe most importantly, financial indicators.
And the research shows it's getting even tougher now, right?
Yeah, reforms, especially ones coming in around 2025, have really intensified the crackdowns on the tools people use, like VPNs and proxies. They're not just blocking the sites, they're trying to block the way in.
And crucially, the player isn't safe either. In most places, it's the operator who gets in trouble.
Not here. Players themselves can face administrative detentions. They can be up to 15 days in custody plus fines. And police raids can target payment records, meaning your bank account could be frozen just for making a bet.
That is a massive deterrent.
It changes the whole definition of discretionary spending, doesn't it?
It's a truly formidable wall. But, and this is the core of the paradox,
Yeah.
despite all of this, the market is still huge. What are the numbers that keep tempting people to risk all this?
The contrast is just stunning. It really proves the consumer appetite. The legal state lotteries, they already generate over $60 billion US annually.
60 billion.
So the demand is clearly there, but now look at the illegal market. The underground online gambling market was estimated at around $11.4 billion in 2024.
Wow, over $11 billion, all operating completely in the shadows. It suggests the state lotteries just aren't satisfying what people actually want.
They absolutely are not, and you can see it in the growth. Projections show that illegal market growing to almost $20 billion by 2033. That's a growth rate of over 6%. This demand isn't going away. It's actually accelerating against the prohibition.
So what's the foundation for that? I mean, why is the consumer base so perfect for this kind of activity?
You have a demographic and tech perfect storm. We're talking 1.4 billion people, the second largest GDP in the world, and disposable income is rising fast, over $5,500 per capita, which just means more money for things like entertainment.
And they are all online.
Completely. Internet penetration is at 77.5%. That's over 1 billion users. And nearly everyone has a mobile phone. This is one of the most digitally fluent consumer bases anywhere. They just expect things to work seamlessly online.
So, okay, everyone's got a smartphone. Everyone's using digital wallets. What is the one big bottleneck, the Achilles heel for any operator trying to get in?
It's payment strangulation. This is the state's most effective weapon. It's not enough to block a website. You have to cut off the money.
How does that actually work with giants like Alipay and WeChat Pay?
Well, the big financial institutions and those wallets. I mean, Alipay has 1.3 billion users. WeChat Pay has 900 million. They are all mandated by the government to flag and freeze any account they suspect is involved in gambling.
So the most convenient payment methods are just off the table.
Completely inaccessible. It forces these illicit operators into these really complex, high-risk, inefficient shadow payment networks. And even crypto is banned, so that's not an escape route either.
So the government is basically forcing the black market to use these ancient, expensive ways to move money, making it super risky and slow.
Precisely. And on top of that, there's a total advertising ban across all media.
Yeah.
So if you're an affiliate, if you're a marketing agency, you are facing serious criminal charges. It often falls under the opening a casino offense, which can mean years in prison.
Yeah.
Customer acquisition costs are astronomical.
Which brings us to the operational reality. If entry is a crime, payments are strangled, and marketing is banned, what does it actually look like on the ground? The Operator East score was a 0.0 out of 10.
And that 0 reflects the insane costs and risks. Illegal operators are paying this huge survival tax. The sources point to extremely high monthly costs just to keep the lights on. You're constantly having to rotate your domains to dodge the firewall. You're using complex cloaking tech.
And paying those payment processing fees.
Right. And what are those fees hovering at?
I saw numbers between 15 and 25%.
Or even more. Just to move money through these shadow channels, that just destroys any kind of normal profit margin. It's really a testament to the scale of the demand that anyone can survive that at all.
And what about the idea of a financial penalty from the state? It's not like a fine, is it?
No, the effective tax rate, as we call it in the research, is a 100% risk of asset forfeiture. They don't just fine you, they seize everything.
Right.
Any money, any equipment, any linked accounts. It's all gone. Makes it a total zero-sum game if you get caught.
And we saw some recent rule changes, not directly about iGaming, but about general online gaming for minors. You know, real name registration, playtime limits. What does that tell us about the government's overall control?
It just confirms that their intent is to monitor and control every single layer of digital life. These measures, they're enforced by the NPPA, the National Press and Publication Administration, and they show that the infrastructure for deep surveillance is fully mature and active.
So they can see the real identity behind every account and track what they're doing.
Exactly. Even in non-gambling entertainment. It proves that the government is totally committed to controlling any digital platform that involves money or content. The technology isn't theoretical, it's embedded everywhere, and it's used aggressively.
So when you add all of this up, the criminal risk, the payment blocks, the intense surveillance, what's the recommended strategy for a legitimate company that's looking at that huge consumer base?
The only viable strategy is an indirect one. and a very cautious one.
So direct entry is just impossible.
It's impossible. Companies have to look at things like localizing content for non-gambling games, tech partnerships with local firms who get the political landscape, or focusing only on games that are strictly skill-based. The goal is to engage the audience in legal sectors, but you can never, ever touch real money betting.
So we've covered it all. The demand, the tech, and this just unbelievably prohibitive legal wall. China has the users, the infrastructure, and the appetite, but the legal structure makes it a physically dangerous and financially guaranteed loss for any compliant business.
That's the inescapable bottom line. Our final verdict has to be that China is a hostile, closed environment. Private iGaming is treated as a major crime. The combination of criminal prosecution, which includes extradition, plus the payment strangulation and the tech surveillance, it just makes the market uninvestable.
And we should probably reiterate that warning about who specifically should stay away.
This is so important. If you're a publicly traded company, the compliance and reputational risk alone would be devastating. If you're an affiliate or a software supplier, you face direct criminal charges and real jail time. And if you're a payment processor, that's just money laundering in their eyes. Immediate asset seizure and prosecution. You can't just quietly slip through the cracks here.
It's the ultimate sobering assessment. We talked about the state's ability to require real names for gaming accounts, their surveillance tech. That capacity for control is just stunning. Which leads me to a final provocative thought for you to take away.
Okay.
If they can dictate digital consumption this effectively inside their own borders, using firewalls, payment blocks, real name ID, what does that level of technical and regulatory power suggest about their future ability to influence or even dictate digital consumption in other, less restricted markets around the world?
That is a truly critical question. It's about digital sovereignty, really, and enforcement capacity on a global scale, something we need to watch very closely.
For the full text of this and other country reports, you can visit our website at gamblingdatabases.com.